Hi, and welcome to another Odd Job Motors test report, our first one of 2013. And in the spirit of the number 13, we're bringing you a 1975 Chrysler 5 horsepower. Now actually this motor, there's a lot of different information out there. Some of my material says they were offered in 74 and 75, some says 74, 5, and 6, some says just 75 and 76. I think 74 and 75 is probably a pretty good guess, and there may have been leftovers offered in 76. So I'm thinking that based on the model numbers and the information I have, this guy appears to be about a 1975 model. It's an interesting motor actually, because it is a two-cylinder 7.52 cubic inch. That's 1 3/4 bore by 1 9/16 stroke, and it's a cross-flow motor. And what's interesting about it is it actually is an Elgin model that West Bend made back from 1947 through 1950. It was rated at 3.5 and 5 horsepower, and they dropped it in 1950, and then for some reason they decided to bring it back in 1974. Some updates to it, or it no longer dumped unburnt fuel into the leg that puddled up in the crankcase, and it also has roller bearings and things on the crankshaft that instead of the bushings that the original Elgin had. It's a very simple motor. It has, as you can see here, a throttle on the side, fuel shutoff down here, gas cap. It has an enormous metal gas tank underneath this fiberglass cover that must hold almost a gallon of fuel. And Elgin people will recognize the tiller here, and it has the little shear pin holder back here. And to put it into reverse, you just flip it all the way around. To access it, to work on it, you have to undo, unfortunately the tab here in the front broke off and somebody relocated the screw here to the side, and then there's 2 screws here in the back that you undo, and then you pull this off. Then you have to very carefully pry apart the lower cowl to get it off. And that gives you access to the motor. And when you do see the motor, like I say, it is absolutely this spitting image on the outside of the old 1949 and 50 Elgin 5 horsepower. It has an updated leg from the original one, and an actual real rubber vaned water pump impeller in the bottom, not the sliding vaned job that the earlier motors had. I'd been on the lookout for one of these motors for quite a while because, like I say, of its lineage to the earlier Elgin. What's interesting is that they decided to bring this motor back. I'm not sure why. The next year, in 1977, they started offering a single-cylinder loop-charged motor that was actually not as smooth and quiet as this motor is. Here, I'll start it up real quickly for you. The one problem with this is it has a Fairbanks Morse recoil in it that is just the cheapest piece of junk ever. It's got these sort of little cams that they offset as you pull it over and dig into this cup. And I think that was why the problem with this motor and why it was retired years ago was because the recoil starter is very questionable. I find if you give it a quick tug to engage it, that helps. Really runs very nicely. I'm not sure how it sounds on the camera here, but it's actually pretty quiet and very, very smooth. I'm looking forward to running it on a boat later this year. It has this interesting Amal carburetor made in England. It's the simplest thing. It's practically like British Seagull simple. It's totally non-adjustable. It has no adjustable jets in it. The only thing you can really do is unscrew the bowl and clean it out. And you can't even adjust the float height because the float is plastic. So it's very simple. And I guess if it doesn't work, you're pretty much screwed. But this one seems to run very, very well. I picked this up at the Rocky Hill AOMCI meet last weekend, and it was there on the ground and it was dirty, but it just had something calling to me saying, "Oh, buy me, save me from the smelter." And so at the end of the day, I talked to the guy who had it, and that literally he said, stuff I don't sell today, I'm getting rid of. It's going to the smelter. So anyway, we worked out a deal, and $35 later, it was mine. And I got it home and cleaned it up, and even the spark plugs in it were in excellent condition. I think they were the original Champion from the 1970s. It doesn't look like it had a lot of use on it, so I'm looking forward to trying it on the boat this summer. We'll see how it goes. It's quite light, and I think it'll be a fun motor to have. So anyway, that is the 1975 Chrysler 5 horsepower. I hope you've enjoyed this brief tour, and we'll see you out on the water.